Back at it, washing some more dishes, and got something that I want to talk about because it's been coming up for some reason with people that I know, whether it be friends or family, students, and it is the topic of substance abuse. It's a deep one. So where do we begin with this? Where do we begin with substance abuse? Because we could look at the layers of what's going on with their reality and what drug they're using and how they're doing all this stupid shit and losing the respect of their family and blah, blah, blah. We could stay at the superficial layer, or we can go a little bit deeper and look at where that is coming from. Now, from my experience, I studied this in school a little bit, but it really didn't help me understand like the root of it. I mean, I've had people within my family that struggle with substance abuse and stuff like that, and it's not pretty by any means, and it's really sad because it can destroy a lot of families and completely rip somebody's fucking soul out of their body. So it's like they're like soulless. They're fucking dead just walking around. I'm cussing a lot in this video. So really, I want to take it back to trauma. I think that you can link almost any problem with trauma. So this is just another problem. This is another human problem, substance abuse. A lot of animals use substances to get high. It's you know, from dolphins, from jaguars to I think it's jellyfish. Like, they all use stuff to get high. A lot of animals use stuff to get high, and we're no different. We're fucking animals that do the same thing as other animals. And let's talk about the trauma, because that's oftentimes what people have a difficulty with. It's knowing where it comes from. And typically, when I see somebody who is struggling with substance abuse issues, oftentimes when I get to know them a little bit more, they come from a very chaotic environment. Their background is very, very fucked up. And typically, you know, when you're dealing with men and women, you'll have issues of sexual molestation. So sexual abuse, that's a huge one, right? Trying to numb yourself. You don't want to feel your body too much. You don't want to be in your body too much because you associate it with disgusting feelings of disgust, probably when you were a child. And you kept that with you for a very long time and felt that it was a necessity to hold on to it, because without it, you're not protected, right? The substance abuse, the numbing, the whatever it is, right? You could be addicted to having sex. You could be addicted to gambling. It doesn't matter what the fuck the addiction is. It's the place in which it's coming from. It's the root. So it's the root that you need to address, because you're looking at the fucking leaves whenever you're talking about, you know, them using a particular substance or whatever. It doesn't necessarily matter what the substance is. It really doesn't. Anything can be addictive, right? Cutting yourself could be addictive. Anything could be addictive. But to acknowledge the place in which it's coming from is vital. And to know, to reflect is a key piece in healing, I believe. And not just sitting down with a counselor, but really being inside of yourself and tapping into, you know, your inner child, as they would say, and being with that pain. Because I think oftentimes people really run away from that in so many different types of ways, and substance abuse is just another type of way. And maybe you've never had mentors to show you how to deal with, to help guide you on that path of healing yourself, healing past traumas, all of that. And I could completely relate because I remember I fell into a few different traps. When I was younger, a big part of my addictions were stealing. I had a very hard time with that as a kid. I would steal so much shit because I would get a high from it. I didn't really need to take. I was very manic as a kid growing into my teenage years, into adulthood. I was very manic, and I got that from my environment that I grew up in, right? Stealing was a big part, and what I saw as a kid. So I did it myself, and it felt very good in a more shadowy way, you know? And looking back, again, it was another way to get out of my head, right? And from experience, I could tell you that the times where I was able to tap into my body, really like tap into my body and not just sit down and talk to somebody, talk to a counselor, because it's not for everybody. But I will tell you that a counselor helps compartmentalize certain things within your head, especially like if you're coming from a very chaotic background and you have so many things that are going on in your head. Psychedelics and being a fucking psychonaut and shooting yourself up into whatever is out there I think is not the way to go about it. I think that's how people have psychotic fucking breaks, you know what I mean? And never come back from that shit because they don't compartmentalize what is going on in their head first. They cannot even be inside of their own body because they're running so much. So I would say the first thing for people that are struggling, and these are my ideas, right? This isn't written in fucking stone or anything, is to find a way to get inside your own body. Find a way to invest in maybe a massage, maybe go to the hot springs, maybe meditate if you can stand to be in your body for a few minutes, right? Try some bioenergetic work, deep breathing. That's more Wim Hof style. But you can also, you can also do stuff like rolling. You can roll out your body. It's very effective for loosening up tension that we have holding on. We're holding on to these patterns within our body, these blockages that make us behave in certain ways. And I've said this in previous videos that like a lot of our behaviors come from this puppet master that makes us dance. And what is the puppet master? Well, to me, it's trauma. It's all the strings of trauma. So maybe it's you grew up with abusive parents. Psh. Maybe you were abused. Psh. Right? Maybe you went to a school and you got bullied or some shit. And now you're doing this fucking dance and everything that you're doing is coming from this real puppety-like place. So you need to snip those fucking strings so you can do your own thing. I hope this is making sense. I'm getting very... I'm using a lot of metaphors here and analogies and whatnot. But I hope this makes sense. Because unless you address the trauma that's associated with the behavior, you're not going to have much success. I know a friend of mine who just joined a rehab facility and couldn't even be in it for a few days. And I feel for him because there's a lot of pain that he's going through that he never really looked at. And it's important to not only look at the pain, not only talk about it, but feel it. Know that it's okay. Know that it's okay to go through those experiences. They're yours. Honor them. They're not going anywhere. And the tension associated with those experiences definitely is not going anywhere. One for sexual trauma, right? A thing that you can use is getting like a foam roller and a ball, or like a basketball or something like that, and put it right next to your belly button underneath it and roll around on it. I'll do a video on that, a video on rolling and releasing tension, releasing more traumatic type tension. this is what I'm fascinated with. I'm fascinated by trauma. I'm fascinated with things that stem from the roots of real severe trauma. And if you look at a lot of families that come from domestic abusive situations, from substance abuse, and all of that, the wheels keep spinning in this cyclical cycle that doesn't stop until somebody actually starts looking at themselves, right? And then you fucking can break out of that a little bit. But until you do, man, you're really going to you are going to exhibit the same behaviors that were given to you as a child. And that's really all I got on this topic. Just did all my dishes. Fuck, no I didn't. I still got the smoothie to clean out. But yeah, with, you know, I regard this topic with love because it hits so fucking hard for me. And I totally understand and empathize with anybody who is going through substance abuse issues right now. And I wish you the best. Good luck. Much love. Until next time.